just kidding. We're here defending traditional martial arts. So I recently spoke to Robert Silas, and I remember watching him do a tutorial on Otoshi,
which just means rear drop.
A technique that I occasionally did before that, but I was not doing it as he showed it, and a lot of little things that he showed made it much better. But it made me think, because in his conversation we were describing Aiki, and he gave me a very different description of what it means, in his opinion, than what I usually view as Aiki. Like, usually when I talk about Aiki, it's like joining energies. If you're going forward, use that energy to go. So any kind of like Savara Geshi, any kind of throw by using the person's momentum instead of clashing, just going with it, that's what I used. That's what I thought usually Aiki gets described as. But he described something from Daito Ryu, which is essentially, you know, if you've seen those old footage when people do like this for a moment and then they get thrown.
As I showed, just as he grabs me, I apply Aiki to unbalance him.
He said that it's kind of like judo kuzushi, but it's not about disbalancing the person to make them hop in the air for them to get their balance so you throw them. It's more about locking them to get their reaction. So that's what he said is Aiki. And that made me think, because there's actually a lot of techniques that I use that technically employ that type of concept. And it came to me that often when we get into like this type of position, we've all seen the Wakigatame in MMA by Shin Yaoki, where he broke the hand from here. But it made me think, usually with the gi, Otoshi is essentially this. Like this. I'm not the most proficient person in the gi. I'm more of a no-gi / MMA naked type of guy. I often do stuff like this from this grip. And from talking to Robert, it made me think, a lot of times I crank here, and even further, I push the shoulder up. If we're doing no-gi, so I'm not gonna grab no-gi and we're fighting in MMA or whatever, and I crank here, you wanna go back to release that arm. That's when I shoot up with this. We're here, we're fighting. If you move back, that's when I enter. This important detail. When I enter, I'm almost as if I'm gonna do like a shoulder throw or an arm spin. But as I do that, I step. Now it's not the typical, like, you know, Osotogari motion. It's more like a Taiotosh, but in reverse, where I let my leg stay almost parallel to him. Because if you'll feel, that's what happens. It's like a catapult. Right, it's like the same thing from Taiotoshi. So it's not that I find here, and if I go, it's not that I'm gonna throw, right, exactly. It's you enter. It's really the extension of the leg that does the work. Either by the back of your thigh, which is probably the best, or somewhere lower with the calf, but the extension of the leg, once it's in the right position, is what helps me get the throw. Completely eat up that space, because usually, traditionally, when you get the gi, you do this to get the person disbalanced to the back. So, and as you're stepping, I just make that step, catch it first. But this came up to me because in no-gi, where I can't grip, I can actually utilize the Aiki thing. I have to go really deep inside. If I f it up from here, which is a good position, you try to take my back, I've got the shoulder throw. Or even better, my calf is a little busted, so I'm not going to do it too fast, but drops very high. So again, from the same position, I screw it up. There's plenty of variations on any kind of technique. Like, somebody could call this a variant on like the Sotogari or whatever, but I really developed it from the Otoshi from Daito Ryu. So you give it a shot. So if you catch my hand here, I'm gonna get it out. As I get it out, you just push it to me, right? There we go. Whoop. I ful je tricky, zato što ne držiš ovom rukom. Ko da nemaš ništa tu, jer nema druge ruke. Kao ovo napriš, odmah zna osoba što ćeš ići nazad, ili napriš ovo, odmah znaš. Ali vem si, krenkaš, guraš nekoga i on ide pobjeći, samo uletiš pred njega. Backside of the thigh, that's where I extend to get that motion. So it's almost as if I'm pushing into collapse, to collapse his leg. So if I'm here, I already did this, he responded, I came in deep, and I extend to get him down. It's this motion actually, as if you're gonna touch the ground. And as I do this, I wanna touch the ground.
And that's your moment.
Right, and the whole idea is, like, of course, it's much easier to have any kind of control when you've got the gi for any type of throw, anything that you do with this. So it came to me like, we've seen stuff like this done a million times. What if I clobber him? I push into just enough to get that moment. So yeah, we'll be developing this concept in MMA sparrings, and thanks to Robert Silas for inspiring this video. And yeah, see you in next video, right? Okay. Yeah.
Revenge is a dish that is best served cold.
Daito.